I will never forget that day. I was there and we were talking and just teaching the Bible. I don't even remember what we were teaching, but I do remember that day. And one of the young ladies there was a member of this church, and she said, "My church needs you." I wasn't interested in pastoring. I was satisfied with just serving at church, and I felt like I had plateaued and peaked and was doing everything God wanted me to do. But she said that my church needs you. And at that moment, I felt God's call to say, yeah, but wait, there's more. Like the cheesy commercials that say that when you're selling a product, but wait, there's more. And I'm like, wait, what more could there be? I thought I've done it all, and so the only thing left for me to do was go to school. And so I'm like, I've done it all. I've served in every capacity in church, whether it's from musicians to executive pastor, and I was like, I don't want to do anything else. I'm good. She asked me to consider applying. I talked to my pastor about it and told him, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm not really excited about being a senior pastor. I love being the guy that does the work but doesn't have to take the accountability for everything that's done. My pastor told me, nope, you're going to apply. And my pastor was that type of pastor. When he said something, I honored him and obeyed him. So I applied, and I fell in love with the church, and the church liked me. And so, if I'm being honest, it was probably one of the best decisions I made in my life. Just when I thought God was done with me, he had maxed out on everything he'd put in me. He showed me that there was so much more left, and I had only scratched the surface. Bethlehem is a very special place. It's unique. It's a community church. It's very well known. One of the top 3 African-American churches in the county. And it was really the place to be. And in many ways, it's getting back there, just the place to be. Bethlehem had a way of being a church that people had to prepare to come to. They were that church where it was a flagship church. It was that church, that church you had to dress up to come to. They were a big deal. And that's a beautiful thing. But the concern I had was with the type of ministry God had called me to. My ministry was inclusive of everybody. And because this church was a flagship church for the elite church goer, my ministry wasn't compatible with that. So I birthed a statement, which is now our church motto: come as you are, stay as you grow. I wanted everybody to feel welcome here. I don't care who you are and where you came from, what type of lifestyle you led. I wanted everyone to feel welcome here. I wanted this place to feel like the bread house, which is why I affectionately nicknamed it the bread house. I wanted it to feel like a place that anybody could come and eat from. And truth be told, that's what heaven is going to look like. I don't believe the church should be a place for perks for people who have members. I think it should be a haven of hope. And I want people to come just as they are. But I don't want them to just stay as they are. I want them to come as they are, but I don't want them to stay as they are. I want them to grow. And I think that sometimes we've taken the A clause of that statement, just come as you are, coming from the Bible, telling people, well, I should be able to just come to church any kind of way. And that's true. But if you're not changing, then chances are you haven't changed. And so we want you to grow here. And so I wanted that model to not just include everybody, but I wanted it to set a standard for the culture here that we are a growing church. And I don't mean by numbers, but I mean by spiritual maturity. So come, stay, grow. That's the model. That's the goal. And that's the reason why we are the type of church we are now. And that's the type of church I want us to be forever. I knew seminary was going to be a huge part of my success and my future in ministry. I've loved working in church, but I remember praying at my desk at work one day, Lord, I want to do ministry full time. I want to work for you full time. And I knew that if I was going to do that, I was going to have some academic credentials behind me. No longer was it just okay to have regular church work, but I needed some academic credentials behind me. And so that's what launched my search for the right place. But I don't believe in joining a church without God's permission. I don't believe in taking a job without God's permission. One lady said, well, Pastor, do you need Jesus to go to church? I said, darling, you need Jesus to go to Walmart. So I don't do anything without talking to him. I firmly believe that if my steps are to be ordered by him, that I must certainly consult him. There was plethora here in Dallas. Dallas is not hurting for great theological seminaries. There's DBU, there's DTS, there's Criswell. I mean, these are great colleges. But I wanted God to send me to a place like he sent me here. I didn't want to just find a great school. I wanted God to plant me there. And Grace felt like I was at home. It felt like this is where I belong. It felt like this is where God was going to literally rebirth my ministry. I had already developed an itinerant ministry. I was preaching all over the country and teaching all over different places, but I felt like I thought I had arrived. But Grace taught me that no, there's more. There's so much more to you. There's more in you. When I came to Grace, I had a little over 20 years of ministry experience behind me. I had served in various capacities as a minister. So I thought I had it pretty much, had church and ministry pretty much down. And there was a number of things that I learned in the program that were reminders. And even in those, they confirmed that I wasn't crazy when I thought the things I was thinking before I got into academic study. But there was a ton of things that I just simply didn't think about or I didn't know. And a ton of experiences that I was able to gather from fellow students and fellow scholars and things like that. And so I learned a lot in the program about this generation of ministry. The church looks a lot different now than it looked when I came up. And so sometimes we struggle, our churches struggle at the faults of their systems and strategies. And so they're trying to use frozen success and applying it to fresh ministry, and it doesn't work. Tradition is nothing but what used to work. And if I wasn't careful, without academic studies with this program in the Master's of Arts in Ministry, I wouldn't have fresh ideas and fresh concepts to apply to modern ministry. And in this day and time, we're married to method without being married to mission. And so the Master's of Arts in Ministry program really gave me that cutting edge, modern approach to doing the same things. The message doesn't change, the mission doesn't change, but the methods have to. For me, it's about the future of ministry, preserving the craft. And so I think that if you're considering this, you need to seriously ask yourself, what dies if I don't do it? What falls apart if I don't go get it? I'm reminded of that text in the Bible where there was a man that needed to be healed by Jesus, and there was no room to get him in. There was a crowd of people, so they broke tradition and opened the roof. Grace has taught me how to go through the roof just to get somebody to Jesus.